Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. Super excited for this stream. Rather than waiting till our grads go off and start working in industry to introduce them to you, we decided we'll get started right away while they haven't even completed their first year of study. So today we're very lucky. Joining me and Matt, we have Emma and Laura Walker, who'll be talking about their experience so far in the course. They're currently in the first year of their 3D animation and visual effects class and are starting to work on some really interesting things. If you have any questions about their experience so far, what their hopes are in the industry, who's the better sister? No, we won't put that in the chat. Pop them in the chat and we'll make sure we get to some of those questions throughout. But with that, I'll hand you over to Matt.
Thanks, Craig. And once again, a big thank you to Emma and Laura for joining us. Really awesome to have you on, and I'm really excited. There are a lot of students out there who do jump on and watch our live streams, and it's a good feeling for them to be able to understand, okay, what does students currently going through the course, what it is like, and I'm sure that you've got bits of advice for them. So let's go back to the beginning, though. I want to take us back into the mindset of when you two were both in high school, before the AA adventure, before the dreams, and just talk a little bit about what you two were like in school and your experiences. So, Laura, if you'd like to go first and give us a little bit of an insight
Cool.
as to what you were like in school.
Well, typical aimless student who had no idea what she wanted to do. Pretty average student. I was very unfocused. I did love doing art and ended up doing sewing, visual art studies, classical studies, and history. I loved storytelling and that kind of thing, but I had no idea what I was going to end up doing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, yeah, there are a lot of students like that. I feel. Emma, what were you like in high school?
Um, I had a very low self-esteem, but I liked working with I liked the idea of working with animals. So I was actually going down the path of going towards a vet nursing. Um, it didn't end up working out, but as a high school student, I probably a bit aimless as well, but I was more towards the sciences than my sister. Um, I sort of had that interest in art, but never thought that I would pursue that as a career. So
Yeah.
yeah, very very quiet though.
Yeah, well, that makes three of us that had no idea what we wanted to do in high school. So for students watching out there, it's okay. um, so outside of high school, then, what first job did you land, and were you thinking of it as a career pathway, or give us a little bit of an insight as to what that was like outside of school? Once again, Laura, if you would like to go first.
Cool. I applied for Woolies straight out of school, and I've been there for 15 years. I've tried the career path, and I didn't enjoy it at all. I love working with people. I just don't like bossing people around and organizing teams and that kind of thing. I much prefer customer interaction. So that's pretty much what I've done for the past 15.
Yeah.
And then I decided, yeah, I was going to say I decided one day that it was time to move on. So that's how I found and why I found AIE was career
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, cool. Emma?
I ended up working at Subway for like a month before I ended up at Woolworths. Never really thought of it as a career.
Better sister got her hired.
Yeah, my sister got me my job. So I was not intending to be there for anything more than like one Christmas, but I'm still there 14 years later.
Yeah.
So um, yeah,
Yeah,
just working
cool.
on a change.
And Laura, that was interesting when you said that you like customer interaction, and I guess in a way the speaking with people aspect is what made a bit of the work at Woolworths enjoyable. How have you found it in regard to sometimes there can be a bit of a misconception that as a visual artist or as a student at AIE we just sit on computers and no one talks to each other? How have you found that aspect of studying at AIE? Have you found that there is that connection with students and teachers and friends?
I was going to say everyone's kind of like very focused on what they want to do, and everyone's working very hard on their group projects at the moment. but I think what's good is everyone has common interests. So there's discussions about Star Wars animation, the latest Marvel movies when they were coming out. So a lot of
Yeah.
conversation going on in the classroom. It's,
Yeah.
it's going to say part of the best part about being an AI student, I think, is sharing interests with people.
Mm. Like-minded people working
Yeah,
together. Yeah.
exactly.
Cool. So how did you hear about AIE? We'll change it up this time. We'll go Emma. How did you first hear about AIE?
Actually, it was Laura. Laura had already heard about it and decided that we should do the certificate too last year. So we did that, and because we
That
was
was
only
in
supposed to
creative
be just,
industries?
yeah, it was in the creative industries. It was like
Yeah.
a
Animation
animation
foundations.
foundation.
Yeah. And how
So
did you find it?
uh,
So
really enjoyable. Is that
Comic
the
Cons and that kind of thing. Yeah, we used to walk around the Comic Con Supernovas and we'd see AIE with their booth there. So it was like, got to get into this visual effects animation. That's like, I can't believe I can do this. So that was my
Yeah.
biggest.
Yeah, cool. And from there, Emma, so I'm already picking up that you were a little bit influenced by Laura. But at this stage, were you all for it? You were like, "Yep, I do enjoy this. It is a passion of mine," or were you more exploring it and being like, "Hey, is this a potential pathway?"
well, starter certificate two, it was just exploring and trying something new. Just get a little bit out of my comfort zone. Found I really enjoyed it, and our teacher at the time, Ben, he encouraged us to go for the diploma. He thought we'd be really good at it. So uh,
Yeah,
yeah, thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
awesome. Yeah, I'm glad. Good work, Ben. Thanks, Ben. So let's jump in then. So you applied for the advanced diploma, had your interviews. How did it go then in terms of if it was something pretty new to you, that portfolio interview, was that quite a scary thing? And did you lack a little bit of confidence with it? Or if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about that?
So the interview itself was fine. I don't mind talking to people, but the hardest part was showing my work. I'm still a bit shy about what I show. So we pretty much showed our 3D animations that we had just finished with the certificate, and then put a couple of pieces that we do. I like drawing in charcoal and pencil and that kind of thing. So I had a folder full of that to show. Emma had some photography in that, which is good. So that was where her interest lay mainly. But
Mm.
yeah, yeah, that
Emma, your
the
portfolio?
scariest part.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was the short film. I had a couple of sketches, and then I had some photos. I really like photography, particularly animal photography. But yeah, I think the hardest part about that interview was actually, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's, I guess, a nice piece of advice for students out there. You don't need to have studied it or art in year nine to come to AIE. It can be a, hey, I've always had a bit of an interest in it. Do a certificate, see if it's right for you, and then have your portfolio interview and write into the advanced diploma. So hopefully there are some students out there who are just got a big smile on their face from hearing that. So let's jump into the advanced diploma then. So both of you now are coming to the end of your first year. So let's talk a little bit about what you've studied in your first year, what the experience has been like. There's a lot to unravel here. So I guess we'll start off with, if you want to go with the technical skills or what have you learned software wise through the first year.
So to start with, it's basically getting yourself familiar with the software. So we've been using Maya for modeling and animating. To start with, it's basically just doing basic models. So nothing like the gecko, but yeah, and then from there we go on to like the principles in animation. So we did a little bit of animating, like I did with the little fox there. Um, but we also did ZBrush. So that's a very fun software. Um, it kind of proves that you don't need to be a good drawer to be a 3D artist. I like drawing, but I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest at drawing. But like I've had a lot of fun in ZBrush, just hashing out some ideas. Um,
Mm.
what else have we done? I'll leave that with Laura.
Yeah, so we've learnt sculpting, polymodeling, and texturing. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is using Substance Painter to create lifelike textures on objects. With the Egyptian scene that you could see with the two cows there,
Yeah.
um, that was sculpted in ZBrush and then put into Substance Painter, where I was able to layer on some rust on top of copper and give it really worn out, beaten down kind of look. Um,
Mm.
then I
It
used,
looks great. I love it.
thanks, the tree in the background there. So that was modeled, but the trunk was a substance texture, which is really good. Learning how to use iterative textures and stuff. And then RenderMan using the grass and the sand. So learning displacements and shading on other objects. So
Yeah.
that was a bit challenging and fun. So pretty pleased with that how that scene turned out.
Yeah. It
Um,
looks fantastic.
thanks. Um, so yeah, then the lizards, which was an exercise in character modeling. So create a character. The teacher showed us how to sculpt in ZBrush the lizards, and then we got to take it wherever we wanted. So it was couldn't quite think of an idea. Ended up going with musketeer because couldn't help it. It was such a romantic idea with the sword. Um, so yeah, same thing with that. So taking them into Substance Painter and giving them lifelike textures,
Yeah.
and all of that is really helpful for our final topic.
Yeah. I think
So
I have to
yeah,
go with the top hat for me personally. I love both. Both look great, but I think the top hat wins it for me. He is excellent.
yeah,
Charming, charming. Okay, awesome. So that's the hard skills, the technical side of your first year. How have you
yeah.
found? I'll go to you, Laura. How have you found the teachers so far?
Well, we've only got one teacher for this topic, and Matt's pretty good. Always willing to stop what he's doing and come help us out. Um, Willing to show us a little bit extra as well. So if ever we've been stuck or we have an idea, Matt's always willing to help us achieve it and or show us something even cooler that we could try out as well.
Mm.
Um, Not afraid to push boundaries a bit, which is good. So yeah, no, he's good and very approachable too.
Awesome. Yeah. That's really important for some students as well, not to be intimidated by
No,
teachers. It can be a bit scary at times. Emma, let's talk a little bit about during your first year. How have you found students at AIE working with them? I know, or for those that don't know, I should say, sorry, a fair bit of what we do at AIE is group work. The reason that we do that is because the industry is very much like that. When you're working on films or games at large, a lot of hands make light work. So, Emma, how have you found it so far?
It's been good. So we've mostly been working. We work in our areas. We're working on Microsoft Teams, so we're constantly in contact. I know some students are choosing to work from home at the moment, but like there's still a lot of communication. Our group is small, so we're just sitting all in a row, and uh, we have our stand-up meetings and the daily meetings, just to see how we're all going. Um, it's been really good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit shy, so I don't chat as much as my sister does. But
It's okay. That's okay. We really, I guess, the idea behind this podcast was just to meet the faces of the students and to encourage students alike. Not every student that comes to AIE is extroverted and I guess more design orientated, leading projects, and that we do have a lot of artists, programmers who just love what they do in terms of on the computer skills, learning. So we want to showcase that to our audience and to welcome everyone who wants to come and learn at AIE, not just not just the loud like myself. um,
All good.
so towards the end of the first year now, you are working currently on your production. And for those that might not know what that is, Laura, do you want to jump in and just let people know what you're currently working on?
So production is basically simulating a work environment. We're working in teams to make either a shot or a short animation. Our group's chosen to go with a short, which we've based a little bit on Disney Pixar's Wall-E. Wall-E. So what's happened is we've all been given our individual roles. The person whose idea it was, she's the director, also character animator and modeler. My job role was as texture artist, and I'm also in charge of getting the sounds together. And my sister is in charge of the lighting because I like texturing, but I'm not really good at lighting. I don't know if you could tell before, but my lizard is somewhat darker than Emma's, who's well lit. So yeah, we've all divided our job roles out and helping each other to finish everything. So that's what we're working on at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the best parts about it is I think the idea that we're going to have something at the end of it to show for it. So I'm really looking forward to showing off our little short.
Little short, yeah. Cool. Emma, how have you found working on
30
production
seconds.
so far? real short, but it's okay.
Yeah. No, it's been good. It's been good. It's a good collaborative environment. So like we've all got our ideas, and so we'll just share them. We've implemented some ideas have been dropped, but you know, it's a fun environment, and we're putting those skills that we've learned all through the rest of the year into practice. So it's been fun.
Yeah. And how long does production go for?
So we've been given there was 4 weeks for planning and 6 weeks for production. We're hoping to get it done as quickly as we can so that we can get it rendered and ready to edit. So part of what we did was scheduled everything out. Basically, we were planning to get modeling done in 1 week, texturing done within 2 weeks, and animation done within 3 weeks, giving us a couple of weeks at the end so that we could edit it all up. That's where we put it into job roles. So while I was texturing, we had animation going at the same time, and Emma's also putting the lighting in the scene so that come render time, everything's all ready to go at the same time.
Yeah. How have you found meeting deadlines at AIE?
I've enjoyed it. I've actually managed to keep everything on track. The hard part was trying to say no to work. Keep calling me. No, I have homework. Leave me alone. The homework's fun, so it's been good. I've enjoyed and managed to keep all my deadlines. Touch wood.
Yeah. Awesome. Emma, so that's the first year of your advanced diploma kind of wrapping up now, working on that major production. So you did have a bit of an insight as to what it would be like with the certificate, but the advanced diploma and AIE as a whole, was it what you expected coming into it now and experiencing it, or is it a bit different? And if so, how?
Well, it was a little full on to start with. Just the thought of by the end of the year we'd be working in a production. Having gone through all the year though, I've found it to be better than I expected. I was nervous about working towards the project, but it's been fun, and I've actually improved so much. Like with all the skills that I've from certificate 2 to now. I mean, if you look at the gecko with the top hat now compared to like the dragon home, which was a few shots back, but like the difference in skill level is maybe not immediately obvious, but it's obvious to me. So yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Just jumping in your ears from now. If you're listening to me, everyone, you haven't gone mad. I'm just the voice that's whispering behind you. We just had a few questions kind of based off of that. I'll bring up Alfaro's question first. He wants to know if you have any advice for keeping up with animation study in general. Is it, you were talking briefly, Laurie, is it just about loving the work, so you're wanting to put in as much effort as possible, or is some days it's a grind and you just have to really push yourself through the areas you don't like as much?
One of the things that I actually do is I keep a bullet journal, which I can keep track of all my deadlines. So what I've done is I've dedicated like a block of time every day to put towards homework. I'll typically get 6 hours of extra time done a week. That's an hour for 6 days each day. So that's how I've managed to keep up with it. I think it's more consistent practice than anything else.
Cool.
If I could jump in there. Um, so studying the animation has been really, really fun. Everything that you learned before the animation part, it helps you with the animation. And as for keeping up with animation and studying animation, um, we also like follow animators on YouTube. So it's just a bit of fun to watch in your spare time, and then you can take those ideas into AIE with your own projects. So yeah, it's
And there's a really
don't feel
cool
limited.
Facebook group called Anim Challenges if you want to check it out as well. So they provide a monthly rig and you all get together and muck around with it. So it's a good
Awesome.
place to start if you want to get into 3D.
Cool. Just another quick one. This one from Van. I don't know if it'll all pop up on screen, but I'll read it out. They wanted to know they're interested in 3D modeling and animation and visual effects. I was wondering if you briefly touched on this, but how much? Oh, sorry.
How much knowledge is
There we go.
necessary coming into the course?
Yeah.
Even though we had previously had knowledge, you don't really need any at all to come into it. The first topic is actually designed to get you used to the software and to learn how to use it. As long as you have a really nice um, present yourself nicely during the portfolio review, I don't think you should have an issue at all. Um, One of the things you could try is try downloading Blender and having a go at it. Everyone's tried the donut tutorial, so that's worth having a look at if you were really interested.
Yeah, I think that is, if I just jump in there for a second, Van, that's a really good question. We do teach from a base level. So the portfolio interview isn't to find that you have been a Da Vinci type student through the arts since the age of 2. It's just to make sure that AIE is a right fit for you as you are for us. So for in a portfolio for 3D animation and for film, any artwork that you've done that demonstrates your creativity, you can put in a portfolio. It doesn't have to be digital, but obviously digital is a great component of or to have in the portfolio. Tutorials that you can do online, you can print screen them. But you're also more than welcome to bring in any art that you've done, physical copies of it. I believe it was Laura. Did you say you did charcoal paintings?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, charcoal
yeah.
paintings. Really, anything that demonstrates your creative ability, as I said, can go in a portfolio interview or in your portfolio. And the interview isn't crazy formal. It's just a more of a get to know you chat where you come onto campus and talk with a teacher, a friendly teacher. They won't hurt you. And it's just to make sure, as I said, it's the right fit for you and for us. So if you are interested in studying, definitely reach out to your local campus as well. We've got a lot of friendly staff that would love to have a chat with you and to detail the right pathway for you. So thank you for the questions, Craig. Were there any other questions coming through that we could help?
Yeah, I guess this one, which might be a little bit hard for Emma and Laura to answer now, but you might be able to talk a little bit about it too, Matt. What kind of connections does AA offer in the software world? I'm guessing that's industry connections, that kind of thing.
That is a good question. So this is one of the areas that AI really shine, is connections to the industry. Emma and Laura, you can speak a little bit about this in 1 second as your personal experience with it. But throughout the years, we do have industry speakers come in to our campuses, and students will meet with them, get to know them. We've even had recently here in South Australia, a lovely lady from Technicolor came through and had an hour presentation on what to expect in a portfolio or on your LinkedIn, on a resume. And she even followed up a couple of weeks later and had some one-on-one time with students and going over their individual LinkedIns and helping them prepare for landing that first job as well. So industry speakers we do get coming throughout the year, but also just helping those connections all round is one of AIE's big aims. So I guess I'm going to chuck that question though as well to Laura and Emma. Do one of you want to jump in and talk about your experience so far with it?
Go for it.
Okay, I was going to say we haven't had any industry speakers with the first year yet. I think that's mostly the second year. Having said that, everything that you do throughout the year, we're going to be putting together portfolios. I think we get help with it next year, but Laura and I were going to do it anyway. Yeah, just honestly, it's I'm not even sure how to answer this one. It is a tricky one. But yeah, to be honest, most of your connections are in the first year made with fellow students. So yeah, your networking starts in class, basically.
Yeah, that's a good point. Laura, your experience so far with industry?
Well, we volunteered for the Career Expo, so that was an opportunity to head out there and meet people who were doing other things. So, Rising Sun Pictures, got to speak to the lady in charge of that. Also, speak to Flinders Uni people. Also, so networking, same thing with me. I also have people at work who are interested in the same industry. So my networking is actually at work too.
Yeah, and Emma and Laura wouldn't have experienced this in this year, but our second years, at the end of their production, so at the end of the year, we do have industry or graduate showcase day. So we invite X amount, I think in South Australia here we invite between 50 to 70 industry vets that come through and on the day have a look at the production or the group work that the students have been doing. And we strongly encourage the students to have their business cards ready as the industry, if they walk through and they really like what they see, there's a connection made right there as well. So having that as a avenue to meet and to greet and to learn is fantastic as well. So more to come on that behalf for the second year as well for Emma and Laura. So I did look down. We are hitting towards the end of the stream. Thank you so much, Emma and Laura, for joining us tonight and having a bit of a chat about your experiences so far. I do want to ask one last question. For any students out there who are thinking of studying AI, and know we have touched on this a little bit, but any advice that you can give to them?
I was going to say, you go first, Laura. Okay, I was going to say probably not. If you're thinking of just dabbling, just definitely go for the certificate too. I don't regret it at all. But if you have an interest in the industry at all, go for the diploma. Like, you won't regret it. I've not regretted it so far, so.
I was just going to say, if you wanted to reach out to any students or anything, or speak to people on campus, like I said, everyone's so like-minded and interested in what they're learning. So that would be my advice: is find someone and talk to them.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of resources to use as well. So I did say that was the final question. However, I'm going to sneak in one more. Let's look 5 years to 10 years from now. What is the dream for Laura and Emma Walker?
My dream, character animation or technical animation at Disney or Pixar.
Harder with me. I'm not even sure what I want to do yet, like specializing wise. So, but as a kid, I always wanted to be an animator. So maybe that, I think. But again, the VFX has caught my eye. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe a Marvel movie would be awesome.
Yeah, we've got Rising Sun here, so definitely an opportunity there. So awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Emma and Laura. Craig, if you wouldn't mind, I just want to quickly, before we end the stream, I just want to thank a couple people out there. The Commissioner for Children and Young People, Helen Connolly, a big thank you and a shout out. For those that don't know, the Commissioner here in South Australia has put together a hub along with some of her fabulous staff. It's a place where youths of South Australia can just hang out, learn. There's a lot of fun resources on here, but really just to, I guess, go on and connect and find different avenues of work and study and play. And a big thank you for her team for putting my Journey series on from AIE. This is in the For the Gamers hub on the website. So please do feel free to check out. And Helen, thank you so much for putting that up there. So we appreciate it here at AIE. Other than that, I'll pass over to you, Craig.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I guess last thing for people to keep their eye on, if you were keen to learn more and see some live software demonstrations, coming up very soon, we've got our final open day for the year. This would be a really good chance to, in Adelaide, Sydney and Canberra, come into the campuses and talk directly to the teachers, see live software demonstrations. We'll also be having an online event so people in Melbourne and other parts of the world can attend. Make sure you head to the website, which is just aa.edu.au/open, and you'll be able to come along. You'll be able to put your name here and go, Craig. Oh, no, that didn't appear. But you'll be able to come along and, yeah, check out. You'll have to make sure you register for that because places will be limited so that we can make sure that we follow all the guidelines that are in place at the moment. But yeah, definitely make sure you come along. And like you said, you might not know your place in the industry just yet, but open day is generally a really good chance to just find out a little bit more about the specifics and maybe learn whether it's design, programming, art, or if it's visual effects you want to get into. Cool.
Awesome.
You go.
Well, thank you so much for joining everyone out there. As I said, and as we've mentioned before, if you have any questions, please do reach out to your local campus. We are very friendly and we are here to help you. So a big thank you to Emma and Laura for joining us again. And for the rest of viewers, have a good night and we'll be back soon.
Yeah.
Right, thank you.